And here it is, my finished painting. My became quite nice. It's almost like it falls out of the whole thing here. So I guess I reached something. As you know, I was working a lot with directions and small brush strokes to get this to happen. And this is the apple, and I think it's not that bad a rendition of it. I hope you enjoy it and learn from it, because I think there is something to learn in this. Anyway, again, it's my studio, my place, as it's called, my space. Yeah, so if you want to do me a great favor, share this video on social media, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, see the whole thing. Even if you don't watch it, just let it roll. It brings up my view time, it helps my channel to grow, because it has some kind of growth problems. I used to post some political stuff, and I was shadow banned for a while, I guess, so that's how it is these days. You can also check out my Patreon if you want to donate or become a patron, and you can actually win a painting like that every month if you donate $5. So yeah, with this, I hope you enjoy it, and keep on. Yeah, keep on painting was what I was going to say. And I also want to say one more thing. It is that in description you find hyperlinks, so you can jump in and out of segments very easily. It's like hashtag links. You just jump to the different segments, and I hope you use them, because it takes me actually some time to make them. And you also give me a view every time you press one of them. So if you jump back and forth, I actually earn some money. So with this, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something from it. And remember to tell me what you think. So with this, keep on painting. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna paint this apple on this canvas, like I did with the onion. I painted this too a long time ago, probably 2 years, and of course I don't have that apple anymore. I'm just gonna paint this apple on this painting, and yeah, I think it's quite cool shape actually, and the red is quite nice. So wish me luck, and see you in my video. No, you see me in my video. Anyway, stay cool. Okay, here I am. And another day, another apple. Let me see. I think I want to, since this is already a sketch, I think I want to take it down, approximately down here, because it's standing on this edge here. So that's what I'm going to do. I think this was too high anyway. It's not really nice. I don't think I need my glasses now actually. Blood sugar is good, but should have. I'm getting used to my glasses now. It's almost a little bit annoying. So I will take it down here, probably even further. I don't want it to be this big. Nature size, nah, it's too. I want it to be smaller than natural. And yeah, something like this maybe, so I can get that shadow here. that's maybe a little bit too low. Anyway, just take away some of it so you can actually see it better. I've been standing around for such a long time, and the color has become very dry actually, and that leaves me with some problems because I noticed that the colors doesn't stick that well to the surface, but maybe I should have used a glaze actually, or Retouching Varnish, because that will actually make the surface a little bit more sticky. I'll try that with I have one more. I'm going to change totally like this up here, so I might try that on that one. It's too late now anyway, so yeah. Now I usually start with the light areas, and here I have some of the light already in, so I'll just use that. And it's kind of blue-green. These apples are always very difficult because the colors are so bright, and it's almost like I'm getting the color circle thrown right in my face, and as a closet impressionist I am, I tend to overdo colors, so that's fine. See now, and red, some red and blue, French ultramarine using here to get that tone. So nice to sketch, so liberating, just amazing. Should make one, should start, you know, I use such a long time on finishing the paintings. Maybe I should actually just put on every day before I paint, just put up an object, put on a piece of paper, and just do some charcoal sketches just to train my eyes, just to get into the groove. It's la croquis. It is almost like the same thing as actually drawing humans. It would be basically the same thing. Yeah. Just an object. You can also use, I have a lot of craniums. Even my dead dog. I have a dead dog in a box. And I haven't painted it yet. For some reason I tend to avoid it. That's strange, because it's such a nice cranium. And it actually looks like my dog, so because he had this kind of thing on his head. And I remember touching it. It was such a cute dog. Funny, because I'm going to paint him in a portrait of that dog, and in a bigger painting that I'm just going to probably keep for myself, just to prove that I can. And I've painted that dog before, which 2 dogs actually I've painted. So I can, if I do. But you know, it's like nice to have a broad spectre. Yeah. And prove to people that I actually can do it. You know, it must be boring for people to watch me paint to all these apples and still lifes and stuff. But you know, it's also some of them might go to Patreon giveaways if they don't. These are going to an exhibition in my home island, but if they don't sell them, I probably use them as Patreon giveaways. So usually I sell some of them, but never know. So it's nice to get them done. And yeah. I don't like this orange here. Oh, you should. So, okay. There. Like this, okay. But I need to get in that bluish surface first. So I have that contrast. And it just stands on. It stands right on the edge here, so the edge comes right underneath it. Just a little strip of light here and a shadow that hits here. So yeah, I tried to get you know, I like to paint single objects. For some reason it's more, it kind of reminds me of, it's more existential. This is almost like I feel I'm painting a portrait. You know, one object is enough in a way, because one object is in itself so complex, and with only one object you also focus more on getting that right, and the whole thing. Many objects kind of becomes more anonym. For instance, I will use a lot more time on an apple in this painting than if I painted an apple into a huge painting where the focus wasn't on the apple. I might have it a little bit more sketchy. It might be a little bit more symbolic, like in the shapes and stuff. Of course, the ideal will be to spend, even if it is a huge painting, to spend as much time on that, on every object in that painting, as if I painted just one object. But you know, life is too short. You can then choose between painting less paintings during your lifetime or more paintings, and maybe it's not necessarily less quality but less work into every object in that painting. It's hard to say what one should choose. I want to do both at the same time. Idealistically, I would like to do both, and yeah, but it's not easy. Well, life isn't easy, so. So, there's a shadow also down here, total shadow there, this goes all the way over here. You see that shadow here now? That will kind of balance that composition. That's the kind of point with it. And yeah. I actually almost chose a different apple, but I fell down on this. The other apple had a very strange shape, and I had to put it, you know, in. But it didn't have all the red and the contrasts. I like the red, very red actually here. It's very bright red, and then it comes all the way to the green on this side. So as I said, it's almost like getting the color circle just thrown right into your face. That's why I chose this apple. I don't go to the store and just pick up any apple. People must look strange at me because I'm standing there looking at these apples, and must look like I'm crazy because people usually just pick some apples and they eat them. But I'm gonna find the apple that suits my needs and my sense of aesthetics. So yeah, must look quite strange. From here I need a new fan in my computer. It's starting to make some noise. It's quite annoying actually. I usually have some music on or something so I don't hear it, but I'm making the videos. You can hear it too much. Ah, it's too long. Well, I can choose between lifting this up or yeah, do that. I don't want to let it start growing in size, because if I start growing out, I will probably start growing it, but it's a little bit, yeah, tiny bit smaller than the original size. So, I can follow the shape here, like this. And yeah. This. Probably need to charge the battery on my, yeah. Okay. See now. Okay. It's always difficult to find the right. Here I don't want to put in too much paint yet, because it just screw up. Okay. So down here, you see it's kind of standing on the edge. There's this thin shadow underneath there, and here, and there. This stands there. There's a tiny strip of light behind here. And the shadow comes down here, goes out there, a little bit down on the yellowish, and line goes in here, so yeah, comes out here. Yeah, I think that's nice. Hit it on the hammer. Also it bulks out here, and that is a nice feature. So it kind of breaks away from the typical, well, it's almost like, now it's the opposite actually. It is the typical apple shape. Some of the apples are just too straight up and down and boring. This actually is more like an apple cliche. So, you see now how I just very fast changed the whole thing, and yeah, that is basically. It was easier with this one than the onion, because the onion is more complex with all the shadows and things. You know, everybody knows that these things tend to drive me crazy in the end. So that is why my videos has a tendency to become so long. And the apple I painted to Patreon now, which I'm going to post soon, is this is fucked up. It's gone. Yeah. 7.5 hours on an Apple. 7.5 hour video. No wonder people leaving me. Oh, I can't stand this. It's basically, it is like doing it all over again, the whole thing, but with the basis underneath, so I can build on the texture, and as you can see, keep some of the light so that it's actually more in the green. It's actually, you see now I just took, first it became too orange, so I just take some blue and I just put into the color, so because of the orange it kind of turned into the more blue greenish color. So I actually now just mixed the colors on the canvas. And then I can also bring it up again. Now I felt it became too green, so I can bring it up again. And I can keep on doing that for a while anyway. Can't do it too many times because then it turns into a horrible mush, dirty. But, you know, I have this, as I say, I can actually see a little bit into the future. The different colors would react and and if you don't know that, if you can't do that, you have to be a little bit more careful, because it can very easily turn into a horrible mush of colors. You see, all the colors are coming kind of, not kind of, all the colors are repeating themselves in this, and people actually like these colors. That is what they usually buy. They like to have warm colors on their living rooms. That's good. I like that. My mom loves it. Oh, why can't you paint more like the colors you used to? My mother actually don't like blue very much. I painted so many bluish paintings. It drives her nuts. Oh, another blue painting. I don't like blue. Well, Mom, it's not all about you, you know. I tend to like blue, so blue and orange and greenish and all the colors of the rainbow. But my mother has an extraordinary color vision and aesthetic sense. My father doesn't have that kind of, and I got it from my mother. My father is more like I'm a slob too, but I'm a slob that like aesthetics. I'm very vain actually. Not vain, you know, I'm kind of, I think about my looks and everything, and my father is the type that couldn't care less. He likes to be a strong man and stuff, but he doesn't care about, it's very masculine, but I inherit my mother's femininity too. So So as I joke around, I'm so self-confidence when it comes to my looks that I should have been gay. I should have been a woman. But then again, I'm also have the manly thing from my father, so. A lot of people have thought I was gay, actually. Some people even called me gender neutral when I was younger. Come on. Take it as a compliment, you know. There was a woman that asked me if I used makeup around my eyes. I've been hearing that for all my life because I have kind of dark around my eyes, and take it as a compliment because when I hear that, I know I've been quite healthy. If I live healthy, I get that thing almost like I have makeup on. That's cool. So I'm gonna see what I'm doing now. I'm just playing with brush strokes, building. I would have been a really good impressionist. Just gonna paint for a while more, and then maybe I should just continue. Basically, I have done the sketch I need now. I will do some more. This is half an hour. Gee. Okay, I'm gonna put on some Retouching so I can actually see. It has dried, so I can see the colors. You can see what happens to it. It is Retouching. And then I will put on a glaze also after this has dried for a few minutes. Okay, it has to dry for like, usually I let it dry for like 10 minutes or something like that. So. Okay. Okay. L'azur. L'azur. Just bluish and French ultramarine and a little bit of crab black. And just shake it up a little bit. Just do like this. See how the textures are just coming out. Yeah. It's a good start. Now the blue and the reddish will lie within there, and I'll just good thing is that it's now mixed in with the rest of the color. And so I start with the lightest areas, as I always do. I've done this. Now maybe I should use a little bit of paper in the most yellowish parts, so that it doesn't turn way too green. It's quite difficult with these small paintings actually, but you know. So here, do it like this. I think I need to change the canvas actually, no, the staffeli, because it's too shaky to work on. I'm just going to show you what I do here, and it's like now as I said, the colors are mixing in to the new paint I put on, and also the oil. It's a very good way to start to get some kind of a new beginning, as I said many times. So see that I don't select 10 minutes on it. My clock stopped. Whatever. Let's see what time has passed. Not as much. This one. An apple a day, they say. It's not really true. Probably not false either. So working against me. That's fine. Now it's kind of sticky as I want it to be. I need to change this stuff elite until the next segment because it doesn't hold on to the painting enough. It's kind of it's too small. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I don't. Anyway, the canvas is now a little bit sticky because of that oil and the kind of linked together. The oil and the turpentine and Retouching. and it kind of gives a surface that locks. If I only took the turpentine and or the glaze on, which is 70% oil, linseed oil, cooked linseed oil. No, sorry, no, don't say that again. It is 30% linseed oil and 70% turpentine. And if I only had that on, it would become very slippery. So the Retouching and the Harpics, probably Harpics in the Retouching, makes it a little bit sticky when it kind of dissolves into the medium and then kind of holds on to the paint better, and of course also mix into the paint as I paint, so it dries a little bit faster. I figured out these things for myself, so I have no idea if it's something that is usually done. My painting is basically based on my own experience. There are some basics to it. I try to start as dry as possible and then work up to the more to the more fat. That is automatic actually, because as you keep on working up the layers, you tend to become more and more fat anyway, so it's not really something you have to worry about. It happens all by itself if you just paint long enough. Okay. As you can see, it's the same thing. Just use the background to explain the shape, and we just have to kind of repeat that until it starts to get some sculptural shape. Yeah. It's so annoying. I can't really press too much because I would probably fall down. So I need to do something about that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I will just do some more painting, and I'll change the stuff really because it's too wobbly. Until next time. Okay. So I needed to change that stuffile because it was too wobbly, as I said, and I painted for a while, and now I'm going to paint some more. So I'm still just building the skeleton in a way, the main texture, going back and forth on that. You can also use some more white here to get it more into it, get that shape. So yeah, this one is also kind of coming against me, so I have to create this illusion of shape going down. It's like a big ball in a way, and just goes up. Get some more medium. Medium. Yeah, I thought I just kind of drag it a little bit down like this, and then cross over it to see what happens. Well, you know, you have to build these things in, because I'm using so much texture. If I was going to do these basically in one sketch or something, I couldn't add all this texture. I would have used different pencils, I guess, and kept it very under wraps. Trying to, maybe I should try that once actually. Just trying to get it to try to do an apple in one sitting. I know it's done, but you won't get that sculptural thing that I'm after. I need to go to the Netherlands and see the night watch in reality, because my thinking is very much based on Rembrandt and the way he built things. I think also I need to go more to the National Gallery of Art in Norway and start enjoying more paintings and stuff. Things that I used to do. I wonder why I don't have so much time for these things now. But, you know, I'll get there. to have a list every day of things I'm going to do and plan for every day. Now it has been so random in a way, and can't do this kind of art if you live basically a random life where you don't have any plan for every day. You know, not having a plan for every day is like a life living on a planet without gravity. You know, there's nothing that gives shape to anything. And if you don't have concrete things like concrete you know what I mean, plans like, okay, get out of bed, get in bed, and okay, and don't spend time on mellomrom, as we call it, in between. You know, it's almost like time can feel like it almost fall into cracks in existence, and in the end existence becomes shapeless. There is no time tags. There is nothing that shows you, oh yeah, I did that, and I got this done, and I have these results to show, or this money in the bank that show that I produced and sold and stuff. There's so many things to fix. So, yeah. Sorry. You see here, I'm keeping it a little bit woolly. And I kind of like that. The brush strokes here works. I kind of like the brush stroke here. It is kind of, yeah, it is woolly. And hopefully I can keep it open like that. Let me see. There's a very fine line underneath here that will explain a lot. Because it stands kind of on the edge. It's Kloniski matter. Kloniski matter. I have no idea what that means. Kloniski matter. No idea. See now. Yeah, you see? This can actually become a more painted apple. And, yeah. You kind of enjoy this. That's a good thing. There's nothing I enjoy more than painting. There's nothing that can there is nothing that can compete with it, because there is nothing I can do over that long a time without becoming exhausted. I can do painting for hours. I can actually do a lot of training and a lot of sex and dancing and everything for a very long time, but you know, you have to restitute after that. You have to, you know, you can actually get quite exhausted by too much training, or yeah, you know. But when it comes to painting, it is almost like, no, it is like I take it with me. I can do it for 10, 12 hours, and it has no side effects. The other day, the only thing I feel is that my brain is totally in equilibrium. It's like it is just so nice, so in tone, and painting has no side effects. It's amazing. So yeah. Just do it, you know, just do more. Keep on banging that drum. So I'm gonna put in that stilk. That's called stilk in Norway. I know, it sounds funny. Stilk. And there's a beautiful shadow. It's kind of greenish blue that falls on the apple, and it goes down like that. It creates that nice shape. And yeah. It's thinner down there. This is kind of the type of detail that I will start working on later. There's a lot of lights actually here also, so yeah, and here and here. See now. It's almost like I feel like this apple is kind of heart shaped. Yeah, it's kind of heart shaped. Feels like a heart. Feels like. Just look at it. Yeah. It's love. It's lovely. Lovely. Let's see, time. Oops, 13 minutes. Okay, I stop now. I think it seems nice actually on the film. Okay, some retouche, Varnish. Retouch Varnish before next layer, as usual, to get this thing going. It's almost like putting a glass thing over it. Away. So I've dissolved a little bit, so anyway. Zon, very yellow apple, which I will start to mold into something with a little bit more shape and personality. Yay! See you in 10. Okay, here we go again. We'll do the glaze again. And painting. Let's see, I need more cleaner medium. Always want to do it with a clean medium, or it will be catastrophe. Blue. Just push it down. See, kind of nice glow that appears with these textures and stuff. Everything is color. Color. So, okay. To little removal. As I said many times before, it helps with the absorption of the colors and make it a little bit sticky, and it also gives that I can actually see the textures well. So now just give it okay there. So yeah, it's okay. Seems okay. See, we've been holding these pencils now for a while, so it could have been a good idea to actually wash them, but I haven't got time for it. I have time for it, for fuck's sake. Just don't bother. I don't care. It's okay. I wash my pencils in the medium anyway. Maybe it's a waste of medium, but I only, not when I end painting in the evening or morning or whatever. Then I use something called green soap. It's just a very natural soap because it dissolves it really dissolves see, now it kind of melts into it. What is it dissolving? It's dissolving something. Yeah, dissolving the oil. You know, soap is strange really, it's just soap, but it's better than using terp as a cleanser or white split or anything. It's actually much better using soap for some reason. Probably something to do with physics. Just have to see what happened there. stuff happening here, I guess. So. Oh, that was very red. Were we red? Okay, I am trying to be more careful with what I do because I don't have time to fuck up. So I guess I just have to be what it is, I guess. You see how the glaze is kind of melting into it. It's quite a beautiful thing. It's so funny because I was in New York and I was looking at Varnish and I could see that he probably used the glazes in that way. That just it glazed and then kind of melted, basically melted the colors together in a very nice way. Almost like they become fluid, and when they become fluid, it's hard to know where lines end and lines start. That is basically the great thing about glaze, that you can actually get that effect that things don't actually have an end or a beginning there. They just glide into one another. Fucking traffic. My phone, on my phone. In my phone. Yes. So. And so. Okay. There's a point there. Oh, what? Okay. So. Thirsty, actually. Had a big omelette with vegetables and garlic. Broke my fast, and that's not really a good idea when you paint, because but I felt I needed some protein. The thing is, when you eat, the blood is flowing to your stomach and it kind of empties out the brain, so it's kind of depleted for energy. So eating while painting is not not really a good idea. It's better to go on coffee and lemon water and stuff like that. Anyway, I did, so I hadn't been eating for 18 hours, so I guess now well, the same procedure as the pear, just a different object. The pear is actually a little bit easier to paint because it's more subdued. This one is very punchy, and it's harder to get it to feel natural than the pear is. But I can also go for a more vivid painting, one that has a little bit more bang for the buck, as they say, somewhere. Probably American. It seems funny. You shouldn't laugh at your own jokes. It's stupid. I do that all the time because I'm alone, so nobody's laughing, so I have to laugh for myself. Because I'm actually talking to myself now. But imaginary, I'm talking to... Ah, for fuck's sakes. Okay, think more later. Okay, I'm back. I was a little bit derailed there because a friend of mine came with a bunch of bricks that I'm gonna use as the basis for building a bathtub actually in my studio, because I have a big bathroom which I wanna make into a bloody Roman bath. It's just what I do on my spare time. And I have to carry some bricks, but that's okay. I will try to get back into the flow. See now. Now the shadow here is so, it is yellow and orange, blue, green. I think it's kind of warm. The yellow is very warm, so the shadow actually looks quite green. So I just mix some greenish color here, and try to adjust it directly on the canvas here, slim it down and correct that kind of. It's a very good way to get this to look curved. So can actually feel I'm getting more into it now. I don't have pain. I guess it took a while for my brain to get back into shape after my hip surgery 9.5 weeks ago, and because I actually felt a little bit fatigued. No, not in a way that I used to with the pain, but I was a little bit fatigued. But I mean, if I look back on it, it was probably because I had used some painkillers and you know, the stress on the body with a big operation like that is quite heavy. It's just me that tend to ignore pain and ignore signals. So, but now I can actually feel like, starting to feel like my vision, my mood, everything is just coming hurtling back to me. So I hope this is not just a manic period, but that it kind of stays that way, because I'm very ready for starting a different schedule with my wife. So I have to work on that. Work from morning to evening and have training and spare time after work, not before work like I have been doing for many years, because it's nice to have a schedule. So, and get the most I can do, because when I have done the work I am supposed to during a day, I can choose to work more, or I can choose to go to a theater, or go to a movie, or meet some friends, or just exercise, just do some data work, go to the ballet. I can choose more what I can do with the spare time. So it's not that I'm gonna not use that time to something constructive, it's just I have the choice to do other things. Usually now I don't have a choice to do things because I'm kind of multitasking so much. And I actually woke up 10 in the evening yesterday. Yeah. So I've been up for like 12 hours, and it is basically 10:30 in the morning, and I will work until basically 2, and then I will sleep, and then I will start working again. The schedule is not healthy at all. And if I could give a good advice to artists who have this problem, is to actually get that thing under control, because it will eat you alive in the end. At some point your system will break down and you won't be able to do it. So, and I feel I have reached my limits, and I need to change it. So, yeah. Anyway, painting. Gotta do these things. It's very 3D actually, this. And there is a very nice brush stroke, that thing behind it, which I will also put into this here, because it's quite nice, and because it's also a reference point, and I can put in some thicker here and some there, so I create some dynamic in the painting. You can actually use brushwork to create, to weigh up compositions and stuff very easily, if you know what you're doing. So, practice. Okay. Bring up that background. Get this on. I used Van Dyke brown and cadmium yellow, cadmium yellow orange I also use. Actually, I haven't got any more of it now, so I guess I have to make some from yellow and red. It's a little bit annoying because I actually like the clarity of the one I buy. So, but that's okay. I'll survive. Get in some strategic. Listen to this upstairs. I need to buy that place and make it into a gallery or something. A prolonged studio. It would be brilliant to have a studio with so high and roof and everything upstairs. But then again, I couldn't play music like I do down here because I have neighbors, which means that I also had to buy the apartments above. And I guess that's out of reach. I'm too old for that now. I spent my time and my money the wrong way. Then again, I'm still alive and kicking. So. I can actually feel that as I said, everything is starting to become easier for me now. So I guess my brain is actually starting to kick back after all the time in pain. Maybe my brain inflation has gone down. It's a very good thing. Actually, when you have inflation, inflammation in your body, it can be in your joint and your stomach or whatever, you actually become very fatigued and actually depressed. And that is one of the reasons why obese people can be depressed, because they have chronic inflammation in their bodies because of the amount of fat and liver problems and all kinds of. And if you get depressed, you don't produce that much testosterone, and you don't produce much testosterone, and then you kind of go into even more fatigue, depression, and then you can't really do anything in the end. So stay healthy if you want to do something with your life. Actually, this is going quite well. But I'm going to stop filming now. It's probably 15 minutes is okay. Okay, here we go again. Yeah, I'm going to do a light glaze before I start, as usual. I had the Retouching Varnish on, so all ready. So I'll just go over it like this again. Give it some punch to the textures. Some good way to start. And big bada boom, bada boom. There we go. So, I should have tightened it a little bit, but do that later. So, I will then start with the lights. Maybe I should take away some song. Pencil. I need to wash my pencils better. Because yeah. Start with the flat ones today. Yeah, do this a little bit. This. So there's a reddish Then going down there, it's quite red, but I will start with the light first. And then, you know, explaining shape is drag it the right way, then I have to find the right hue. But this apple is very vivid, has very strong colors, so I just go for that. I don't think I need to build so much more texture now, because that is already there. Just need to enhance the part that needs to be enhanced, and then kind of leave it. It's funny with these apples and onions and craniums and stuff, I never really get tired of painting them. I say, oh, I'm not going to paint an apple in a long time, and then boom. And I just... There's some kind of symbolicism, and there's a lot of traditions and stuff in apples. So, with Adam and Eve and stuff I don't believe in. So, Willem Tell, and you have the guy with an apple falling on his head. Oh, Jesus, I should know that. I'm interested in science. Yeah, the guy that figured out gravity. Actually, he didn't figure out gravity he just understood. Well, he did figure out gravity, but not actually how gravity actually works. He understood the motions of the planets and the contraction and stuff, but he didn't understand that everything in the universe, the earth, the sun, it's like this, the earth is going around the sun in a wave, actually in a wave in space. Time, space, wave, right? So the universe is like a sea of something, subatomic particles or whatever, or quantum zip, whatever. And every object, even me, are making waves. Newton, of course, Newton, for heaven's sake. How could I forget Newton? So quite exacting. Yeah, he thought that it was the object himself that was kind of like a magnet attracted to one another. But actually it's not how it works. So everything is falling in a way, in waves around the moon. And the earth goes in a wave around the sun, and the moon goes around the wave around Earth, and then the whole thing goes in a wave, in a wave, in a wave, in a wave, and everything falling towards each other. Not toward, I said, they're moving away from each other, but everything is falling all the time in a way. So it's quite special. That was a horrible explanation, but gravity waves are quite exciting. When a supernova explodes, it actually creates the same waves in space. in space, fabric of space, as a explosion. So it creates waves that actually hits like stellar nurseries where stars are born. So when a wave hits the gas, it can actually shake up the gas and the clouds and compress it so new stars. And the gravity then pulls together all the gas, and then boom, you have new stars. It's probably a thing that happened in before the sun was born and our sun. Then it was first it was a big supernova, and then the new sun was created by the debris of that bigger sun and the gas that contracted into the sun, and all the elements were created in that supernova that was before here, and the debris that didn't become. The elements is actually created in, all the elements are created in exploding stars. Well, not helium, hydrogen, helium. Is it helium that was created in Big Bang? Was it hydrogen? Oh, I can't really remember right now. But anyway, the first stars didn't have any planets because there wasn't any elements to create planets and beings like us. So the first stars had to explode to make all the elements that is us. And it's a beautiful thing, actually, to think about that. We are made, as Carl Sagan said, and it fascinated me when I was a kid, we are made by stardust. The stars had to die for us to exist. So that's how it happened, and it's still happening. If you detonate a hydrogen bomb, you can actually see elements being created, that is the fusion that creates elements. To create gold. To create gold, you need a star that is up to 9 times bigger than ours. And when that star collapses and blows up, you actually get 100 billion degrees Celsius. And only then can heavy elements like gold be created. So all the gold in your ring and everything was created in the last 15 seconds of the lifespan of a star. And when it exploded, it created gold. And so it's flown into the universe, and then it fall down on Earth, and we dig it up and makes jewelry stuff. Right? That's amazing. So that's the story of creation. So I don't know. Go check it out. It's very fascinating. I think science is, of course, way more important than this or than art in general. But it's also extremely interesting. Way more interesting than art can ever be. Especially now, art like classical art can have a fantastic effect when it comes to poetry and telling stories or show off human emotion and human skill and potential. But it is science where the big ideas are. That's where That is what is the real important thing. And I remember as a kid I was extremely curious about nature, and I was kind of born a scientist in a way. So if I didn't have the dyslexia and I was good at school, I might have become a biologist or physicist or something. Probably biology, maybe biology. It's the most fascinating thing, is something I could cope with. I think I don't have the brain for the mathematics you need to understand to do physics. And physics has kind of reached a point where you have a hard time finding new stuff. So biology would maybe be my thing. So but I become a welder in a shipyard. A good one too, I'm told. And then I had some asthma, like allergy problems, and through my union I got the chance to start over again and get a new education. And then I had a girlfriend called Heidi who was sick of me not having a job and going, because I was not laid off, but I was kind of on a sick leave, and in between, what I was going to do. And she threw this pen to me, hey, get a hobby, get something to, because I was just training and sitting in cafes drinking coffee and not doing much. And she introduced me to drawing for the first time since I was 10. And then it was kind of love by first touch, because it kind of brought me back to that peace I had when I did creative things when I was a child. And it kind of subdued the hyperactivity. And when I paint, I feel, and I really get into painting, I really feel great. I feel in touch with myself. My brain slows down because I have a very hyperactive brain. I think all the time, and as you can hear, I talk all the time. But when I paint, usually when you're not here, when I'm just doing it for myself, really calms me down. It's best pill in the world. And I don't see ADHD being a disease anyway. I call it a warrior gene. The gene that makes people go a little bit further than the others. And if you look at all the artists in the world history, or scientists, or people who have actually done creative work that is known, they all had some form of bipolar, ADHD type of personality, because I think you have to have it to be able to stand your ground and take all the it is, you fail all the time, and there's a special kind of person who can actually take all those hits. People usually don't want to complicate their lives, You know, they want to have a family, they want to have free time, and they want to have kind of some peace of mind maybe. And the kind of personality I have don't have that at all. I don't have any peace of mind in that sense. I can't use stupid entertainment and let time pass without me noticing and getting annoyed by me wasting the time. So I think it's, if you get the diagnosis ADHD or you have a kid who, don't give him medicine, or don't give him state financed amphetamines or anything. Give her, him, you the right food. Google it, you know, fatty acids, no carbs, training, and for heaven's sake, get a constructive hobby, something you love to do, or the kid love to do. Martial arts is good, boxing, the sports is best for people with ADHD, or the warrior gene as they call it, if it is sports that is based on personal achievement, like martial arts and dance and these things. That is it's not a team effort. It is you and just you. Because that type of personality also often leads to a high amount of individuality or need to express yourself. And to be your own boss, not to be pushed around. So, and that is why sports like gymnastics, boxing, MMA, martial arts in general, is a very good thing for people with so-called ADHD. A diagnosis I actually totally disagree with. There's, you know, when good food, healthy food, low sugar, no drugs, and training are working statistically way better than any of the antidepressants or these ADHD medicines, then you shouldn't give them amphetamines or fuck up their brain with chemicals. You should maybe say, okay, this kid is active, it loves to be in motion, let's find a way in school, let's find a way for them to be able to express this and not having them to oppress it and be told to shut the fuck up, and so they don't feel welcome and stuff like that. I think a lot of the mass shootings in America is due to the American diet, which is basically has almost no nutrition, and you give this food to children and you give it also to grown-ups, and it creates inflation, which again creates depression, which again leads to alienation, and in the end you become so depressed and kind of isolated that the hatred for everything around, and nothing, if you eat the wrong foods you will actually feel hungover. And being hungover, I mean, if I'm hungover, everything is annoying. If I haven't been drinking for a long while and eating the right food, I feel like I love everything, okay? And that's just my personal experience, of course, so it doesn't really prove much. But I also read that it has the same effect on others, so I think that's the way to go. Yeah. You can tell me what you think about this rant. I think it's it wasn't about painting, I'm sorry. I just followed my thoughts. Maybe I should make a video on my other channel about this, because I think it is most important to talk about how to deal with kids with. My daughter has it. She is spitting image me, and we have a very good communication about these things because we understand one another so well. It's like almost see myself as a girl. It's funny. I was a pretty young man and she's a pretty young girl, so beautiful. Perfect skin. Symmetric for both body and face. And she's a warrior. So, anyway. Okay, I'm gonna start painting around on these details here to enhance these and background and stuff, and then we'll be back. Okay. Okay. I have been fighting for hours to get this thing to become round, and it is actually one of the most difficult things I know. It is to manage to kind of round this, and I'm still not sure if I made it. I have been using small pencils, going back and forth. I have been dragging down. The thing is that clean colors are very hard to determine if they are bright or if they are darker. So that is basically the most difficult thing has been in this painting. Now I am basically out of time. So there's not much I can do. I'm going to put the that was a little bit better. Now there are some I'll try just inching it. I don't have the time to do another layer, so everything has to happen here and now. That is also quite frustrating, believe me, because it is very nice, but I feel that it needs this last touch. So, but I'm gonna leave it at this level. So here, I'm so manic when it comes to these things. I actually, the good thing is that if I see a painting, I painted that I wasn't that pleased with exactly when I painted it. If I see it again, I say, hey, oh, okay, it wasn't so bad, you know. And I think that's a good thing. That I can actually. So it just tells the story about how biased I become and how negative, extraordinary negative I can be towards my own artwork. I can really hate it intensely, actually. Before I yeah, when I paint on it, it's a strange love-hate situation. So, but okay, it's fine. So it's very. I'm going to put in any texture in the background, but I'm going to play around with this a little bit to give it some personality. So, you know, it's basically the same background in three paintings here, but I can play around with brushstrokes and I can add things or change things that are there, like there is something going down here, so I can actually put in something in the background, kind of imitates, yeah. There too, I have to round this one with some greenish. There's a lot of ishes here too. And also, so it's just, oh, I want to scream. Whew. It's a very intense job. Of the onion and the pear, this apple was now definitely the most difficult because of the strong colors and yeah. I want it kind of to disappear. This one is a problem. I need to enhance it right here and keep that down behind there. And I don't know how, maybe, It's supposed to be red. And if I mix, the problem is if I mix too much white into the red, it's not really red anymore, it turns kind of pink. I kind of have to work on this on a almost like an Impressionist painting, or actually as an Impressionist painting, and just make micro, very tiny brushstrokes, brushwork, to create that illusion. It's really difficult. I've been working now for hours on this. And of course it does train the eyes quite well. Sadly I need glasses now. Sometimes good, sometimes it's worse. Yeah, I think that was kind of nice. Around this. Yeah. And put it more red there. So now I'm just working. If you go all the way in, you can actually see a gazillion tiny brush strokes. It's almost like watching a totally Impressionist painting with kind of the spots or the brush strokes. That's how I think when I build this. Since I can't do any more glazing, I try to put the colors clean on top of one another and besides one another to create this illusion of clean colors. Yeah, that was quite nice. Okay, I even out a little bit with some red. I use a vermilion and cadmium red and alizarin, and I try to make them come together. Kind of the Kraplak alizarin kind of tones it down, and vermilion brings it, and cadmium. The vermilion typically brings it up, and also the cadmium tend to bring it both up and down. But yeah, see now. Okay, I need some white here to bring it up a little bit. So you see, I'm not going to mix it with the color. kind of just cuts it into the color because it's very wet now. So I can put the white in. This is very impressionist thinking. And in Norway we have a word called sitre. It is another word for glimmering. It's kind of, I'm trying to make it kind of glimmer, kind of get this gold type of, almost like gold, clean, but buzzing with beautiful light and stuff coming out of it. So I wish I can find a piece of mind at some point to be able to do this on my big paintings. Go this deep. Totally all the way. It demands like 12 to 14 hours of painting a day, most days, to be able to reach goals like that. And the beauty of it is I have no problem doing that. Okay, still this one. So I need to bring this a little bit more round. How do I do it? I think I'm gonna bring it up because I feel that it's dark enough there. If I can bring it up, maybe use some white and just cut it in. But I mustn't lose that. Yeah, cut in like that. Cut. And I will tone down this a little bit. I take color from there. And just move it down here. Try to bring it together. I mean, if you can't learn anything from this, I don't know how you can learn. Oops. Yeah. Anyway. Did you go, bastard? This has been the greatest pencil I've had in a very long time. It's been surviving now. So many paintings. Yeah, but I don't know about this. Oh, it's so difficult. Trying to see it. Oh, gods. You know, when I've cut like this, if I even out this a little bit, it becomes way lower than here, and that can actually create that shape, and it actually basically did. Just a tiny difference. And yeah. Okay. Come on, Kuma. So. Tone down here. Like this. The nuances here are just crazy close to one another. Trying to figure out after a session like this, it's very important to get the right nutrition, because that helps the brain to really evolve the neurotransmitters in your brain that is necessary to get better. So the more stress I can actually inflict on my brain when it comes to seeing these things, the better it is. And it becomes a little bit easier every time. So just keep banging on. So well, it's not perfect, but I think it's okay. I will just that's too. Do something more with the shadow. There's a little bit different shape here. This. Use the Van Dyke brown very much. I really like that color. It's kind of brownish. It's hard to use it totally alone, but it is a warm and can be brought up to both warm and cold very easily. And from kind of brown to blue also quite easily. So yeah. So let's see. I will now just place brush strokes here. So what happened? You just. It's so important to play around a little bit with stuff like that, because I can weigh these things and create some motion. And yeah. Now I see that this line here is much brighter, and I will try to do that. Sure, what I think it's some kind of reddish orange. Yeah, something like that. You might think, wow, does it really bother? You know, all this work just for a small apple? Yeah, I do. Every single object, every single thing is so important to get right for me. It's just... I just can't give a shit. It's not me. Yes. Okay. Now I will just sign it, I think. And I will put it away for a couple of hours, 2-3 hours. And I will bring it back up again, and I will then have another look, and hopefully I will accept it, or I might even fuck it up, but it's very hard to tell. Okay. Is this okay? concentration really hurts. Actually hurts physically. But you sleep well when you've done it. That's also a good thing. See now? Yes, now it starts to fall over. I think I want to do this apple again, actually, in a bigger painting. Let's see. Maybe I should do one in all the tree and from photo. That could be something. You know, it's a never-ending story. Yeah, I think that was the thing that gave it the extra. Okay, and then a few hours later, Jesus. Never ends. It is this. This is really difficult. It is that thing here, which I don't seem to be able to get right. Took a little break now, come back and I say, oh God, it's wrong, you know. So strange. And if I lift it a little bit here, and here. Now it's quite fun, because I decided to go basically all out Impressionist on a micro level in this. Just gonna tone this a little bit. No wonder my videos become so very long. It is it's really hard for me to quit when I start. And yeah. And I have to lift up. See, maybe I should use some yellow. Just lift this a little bit. See, it's dot by dot. It's basically Impressionist painting at this point on a micro level. And some things that I figure out for myself. Nobody is teaching me that, except from art history, of course. So, video. Since I have been building a lot of textures here, I can actually use the trick of just pushing down the textures, and that will automatically create a difference in height of the paint, and then you get a better rounding of it. And might wait. Now I just follow the shape and just cut colors into it. Almost created by 1,000 cuts. More than 1,000 cuts, probably 20,000 cuts. And this one. So a little bit of green. And you see now, voila! I think that is quite close. I think I just became a better painter, to be totally honest. And it's amazing to see how I basically invented a way to paint this as I was painting. That's fun. Not invented, but realized how I could actually do it. Yeah. work a little bit around it. Yes. So, gives a little bit of texture to the surroundings. And we'll give it point of light, strategic point of light about here, so approximately where it is, and like this, and if you can't learn anything from this, I don't think you can learn anything from my videos, to be quite frank with ya. See, put in some shadow. Just and I will set a little bit like, wait, I must have the same color as the apple. It's kind of, it's not really red, it's more like in a greenish, reddish thing here. And the shadow is a little bit blue-green. I'll go down a little bit. So. And I need it to be a little bit deeper. That needs some red in it. You know, when I put red into the green, I mix actually the actual nature, the colors that nature will actually mix together to create a shadow color. It is a mix between the complementary colors. First you mix them like 1/3, no, 1/3 I think it is. 1/3. Say we want the shadow for red. You mix 1/3 green. No, 1/3 red into green. Okay, and yeah, so it becomes basically a broken complementary color with both red, with all the complementary colors inside it. But then, if you want the shadow to red, you want it to be a little bit greenish, but with some red mixed in to break it into a earth color or whatever you want, shadow color. That is what happens in nature anyway. So now you know. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I wanna test my faith anymore. It is basically as good as it's going to get, I think. You know, you keep on banging on like this, there's always more to be done. That is why every painting is basically a never-ending story. Bang, bang, bang. Bang, 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 yeah. Okay. Go again. The never-ending story. Yeah. See. And hopefully we'll manage to get that sucker right. But I didn't! Why is that spot so effing difficult. It's almost like I can't see anymore. I've been using my eyes so much lately that I'm actually blind today. Basically blind. And it's just frustrating. And I'm gonna sign it, turn off the camera. No, I'm not going to make this shit happen. Even if it's going to fucking kill me. I did have it, so why the hell did I start fucking around with it? So typical me. I just couldn't leave it alone, could I? So, yeah. Yeah, okay. Ah! God damn it! Just freaking. It's basically fucking impossible. To get this right. So little. This is how it is to be manic. Even my mother called me manic when it comes to these things. Because people don't see it anyway. But as I say, that is not what it is about. I just can't get myself to leave it alone. But then, just gonna say, K, A, V, 19. Almost. So, almost done. What the hell was the time? 25 minutes with this craziness. I'm gonna stop now and leave it. I have a lot of other stuff to do, so instead of banging on this forever and ever and ever, I'm gonna almost move on. So still can't get that shit right. But now I'm going to turn off the camera because I'm getting stressed. So, thanks. Okay. A good hour later or two, and a good portion of frustration later. hopefully, almost. Done. 4. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Almost good. Best. Done. Please. Stop. Just a tiny thing. And voila! It's a little, you know, is these very tiny things like that, and a tiny thing there, pressure points, which then gives it that last boom, I think. And I'm done. I think I'm done. Hallelujah. Sorry, cow. Wow, that was nice. Okay. I'm done! Okay, thanks for watching this video, and here is some photos of it. And as you can see, my Micro Impressionism worked out quite well. I managed to create the shapes I wanted, and quite pleased with it. Please check out my Patreon and share it with your friends. And yeah, until next time, next video, stay cool.